All right, we're getting very close to 9 p.m. We're going to wait just a little bit more, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the drawing. Because we're actually doing a drawing today. We're going to be revealing the final 16 just by, we're going to be spinning a wheel, kind of like what we did with the hybrid war. And we are going to just reveal each of them one by one and place them in the bracket in the order in which they are picked. Thank you, Cosmic Drone, for the donation. He said, I missed the first hybrid war, but with the second one rolls around, y'all better bet I will give you a challenge. Yeah, man, for sure. Second hybrid war is going to be interesting. It's probably going to happen next year. We have a lot of things planned for the rest of the year. But yeah, it's going to be a lot interesting. It's going to be different, a lot more different than the one that we held this year. So I hope a lot of more people join. It's been really fun. What's up, Leo? I think it's Wiria. Hope I didn't mispronounce that. Can you do the famous voice? I can't do the famous voice because Steve is the guy that does the famous voice. For those that don't know, my name is Joe, and I am the creative director of GojiCenter. And I'm basically the one that kind of runs things around here. And but Steve does join our streams every now and then. And good news is that he will probably join us next time. Oh, and I have another announcement that I'm going to make at the end of this live stream. So make sure you stick around because you guys are going to love this big announcement. There's going to be somebody very special that's going to be joining us next time. And the next stream is on Monday, actually. And it's when we're going to reveal the winner. And that's right around the corner. Hey, what's up, Dope Pope? Dope Pope is here, guys. Everybody say hi to Dope Pope and go subscribe. Go follow him on Instagram. You will be seeing a lot of Dope Pope around here very soon. Alright, so it's almost 9 o'clock, so we'll just go ahead and get started with explaining how this is going to work. Alright, fellas, what you see here is the final bracket for the Kori no Doragon, the Ice Dragon. The bracket for the rivals. So, out of the 50-something, I think it was like 58, 59, animals or monsters that qualified for this contest, because not everybody qualified, even though they submitted, because not everybody followed the rules. But out of those 50-something that followed the rules, we picked 16. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be spinning this wheel, and based on the number and the letter, I guess, that gets picked, we're going to be revealing these one by one and filling out this bracket that you see here. And then on the next live stream, we're going to show you who made it all the way to the very end. And maybe we might have a 3D render, or at least a partial 3D render. So make sure you join our memberships on YouTube so that you'll be able to follow this process and see this new monster get created step by step. We'll be giving you updates. All right, let's go ahead and get started now that you guys are kind of informed on how this goes. We're going to go ahead and spin the wheel. And if you didn't see the artwork already, make sure you go check out that live stream already. But right now we have B4. So let's go ahead and take a look at who B4 is. Right? Let me see if I can remove this over here. B4. So B4 is Lucifelis Specter by Igor Suarez, 4748. So he is going to take this very first spot right here, Lucifelis Specter. I think I'm saying this right. And for those that want to know what this looks like, I'm going to show you in just a little bit. Here is Lucifelis. So this is the artwork that one of the artworks that made it to the final 16. As you can see, one of the reasons we ended up picking this was because, well, one, obviously it's a unique take on a feline, on a cat, right? But also it looks like a wolf, and that's something we like. And we also really like the mandrill patterns that we have here. And apparently, in the description, we found that this animal can inject some sort of agent through his claws, kind of like what snakes do, but in the claw area. So we thought that was really cool. It was a really cool concept. Also, the idea of having these retractable spikes on its mane, and just being a really nicely executed design, and the artwork itself is also really nice. So that's Lucifelis. Sorry, I'm like horrible at this, guys. All right, so there it is. That's the first one. Now let's go ahead and reveal the next one. Some of you guys are saying that it's a wolf. It's not just a wolf. It's a whole bunch. It's a whole bunch of different combinations of creatures there. Okay, so A6. Let's go ahead and take a look at A6. A6. We have Chimedon or Chimedon, something like that. So this one was created by Jeremy Rodriguez 9763. Let's go ahead and find him. Chimedon by Jeremy Rodriguez. So this one was actually kind of cool. I don't know if you guys can see it. Alright, I see that Jeremy is here. Congratulations, dude. You made it to the final 16. And real quick before I move on to the next one, because I don't want to be here all day. The thing about this one is that it's one of the only, I think it was the only Proboscidean-ish elephant type monster that we found here. We really like the way it stands. It's a nice stance. We also saw that there was a tail going on back here, but I don't know why they took it off. I guess that was a decision from the creator, which, you know, we respect that, but honestly I think the tail, at least a short one, would be actually really cool. So if this does make it to the final, we may add it back, just saying. But what we liked about this one is that this thing did have a really nice intimidation display, and that's something that we didn't really see a lot in these monsters. We did see it in another one that we're going to be revealing soon. But yeah, this is actually a really cool take on a mammal, and this guy definitely read and understood the memo. So congratulations, Jeremy, for making it to the top 16. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. Thank you, ToonRex, for the donation there. If you have a hybrid for Indoraptor 2.0, I have a hybrid I think would be a good opponent. That's really cool, dude. If we do have one for the Indoraptor 2.0, we're probably not going to make it fight the Indoraptor 2.0. It's probably going to be, you know, like which one's the best human killer or something like that. Because, I mean, almost anybody can create a hybrid that defeats a Indoraptor. All you got to do is make it big, right? But yeah, let's see, A3. Let's go ahead and take a look at A3. Right now, we've been seeing a lot of A so far. Smilodus. Congratulations to Goji King. Let's go ahead and put Smilodus on this spot right here. And, so far we have this matchup. Lucifelis will go up against Chimedon in the evaluation rounds. But let's go ahead and take a look at Smilodus. Smilodus is actually one of the... a lot of people voted for this one here at Goji HQ. Something that we really liked about this animal here, guys, was the fact that this doesn't really look like a Smilodon, but it has definitely some attributes of a Smilodon, like the saber teeth. And then we also really like the elbow spikes down here. And usually these come with elbow spikes that are facing backwards like this, but this one's actually facing in reverse. And if you guys see I'm not sure if it's written here, but and it is written here. Since this creature has an organ that it functions similarly to an electric eel, so we like that this person actually used some of the real life basis for some of these abilities, and used it in his mostly mammal-esque hybrid here. Looks very agile, looks very sleek. We really like the design, and it's also another reason why we picked it was because it contrasts well. Like the colors that he picked was actually really cool. We like the stripes, we like the armored eyelid or eyebrow, a faint horn here, and the size too. I mean, not that size really mattered in this competition, but you know, overall the concept was excellent. We really liked it. So congratulations, Goji King, for making it to the final 16. All right, we're just going ahead and move on to the next one. Let's see, who is next? Looks like it's going to be A2. Yep, it's going to be A2. Whole bunch of A's, man. All right, let's take this out of here. A2, let's see. Who will face Smilodus? Snow Reaper. Oh, yes, I know exactly which one this is, because I remember voting for this, too. Snow Reaper was submitted by Killer Croc. Killer Croc, are you here, man? Nope, I don't see him here, but either way, congratulations. Let's go ahead and learn a little bit more about Snow Reaper. So this right here is actually, I remember during the live stream when we ran into this one, we were like, whoa, you know, this is actually really cool. This reminds us of a leopard seal mixed with an actual leopard. And the design overall was really good. Whoever ends up modeling this, which I already know who, and I'll tell you guys later who exactly this is going to be. But if this one wins, the modeler did express some interest in adding a few things to this monster to make it even more unique. You know, it's already very cool. It looks very formidable. That's the word he used. And you know, we all agree this is actually a really cool concept, and you know, understood and read the memo. And congratulations for making it to the final 16. This actually really deserved that place. So good job, dude. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next monster. And guys, we are going to be doing more of these contests in the future. You know, so if you guys want to join, if you guys want to, you know, take part in seeing a lot of behind the scenes stuff, just please consider becoming a member of GojiCenter. It really goes a long way, and it really helps us out. And if you guys like these live streams and seeing some of the behind the scenes content, you know, make sure you hit that join button. It's different from the subscribe button. So there it is. So let's go to column B now. Finally, let's see, B5. Let's see, who do we have here? Terropitheco. Oh, okay. I think I know exactly who this one is. This was by Joe Dario. And this one's actually a pretty unique design that some of us have never seen before. He did suggest a couple other names, but I'm not going to go ahead and say them here because I can't remember them off the top of my head. Thank you, Team Rex, for the donation. You should do a video of Godzilla in the JP universe. That's just going to be a huge stomp, bro. I mean, it would be fun to animate, I'll tell you that. Just like one atomic blast on Nublar and he like activates a volcano or something. I don't know. But yeah. Let's see, Terropitheco. Let's go ahead and take a look at Terropitheco. Here we are. Terropitheco, what I believe that name means, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody. This probably ends up meaning like terror ape or something like that. And something that we really liked about this one was the obviously, you know, ape influence, but it's not dressed up as an ape. It's dressed up as it has like some sort of like really hardened fish scales, and I think in the description it also mentioned something about having really cool armor, the ability to lift his scales and, you know, expel some sort of acid or I think gas, and the fact that this animal evolved to be a terror for humans. It doesn't have any eyes. It's it evolved to have its like skull as an exoskeleton of sorts, and apparently it lives in that weird Japanese jungle or something. I don't know. It had some sort of description in there. It's basically like the epitome of death, pretty much. So a very nice contrast to Kori. We really like this one too. So congratulations to Dario for making it to the final 16. This was actually a really metal design there. So Charizard King says, I'm impressed by the art of this kaijus. They're all really good. Thank you, dude. And I think you also contributed to the contest. So thanks again for that. Let's go ahead and move on to the next monster that we're going to reveal. Alright, looks like it's going to be another A. It's going to be A7. Alright, let's take a look who that is. A7. That ends up being Cernunnos. I think I said it right. I hope I said it right. Cernunnos will face off against Terropitheco, and I think that's another antler animal. Let's see. Cernunnos by... It says Eric M. the Young, but it's by Filmmaster 1062. So, this is Cernunnos. I hope I'm saying it right. What we liked about this animal was obviously the bold color palette and the almost what's the word I'm looking for? This is something that's like the hero kaiju of the elves almost. Really cool. We like the abilities, especially this one, the hypnosis ability from its antlers and the ability to route energy through them. It also added a weird kind of like energy orb thing that's developing in here. I'm not exactly, I don't really remember the term they use, but apparently this thing can create some sort of like plasma blast or plasma energy concentration between its antlers. Admittedly, it's a little bit out there, but if this thing ends up going to the final, we could potentially reimagine this ability to something that's a tiny bit more feasible. But either way, it looks pretty cool. We really like the design, and it would actually make a pretty interesting combatant. This one was actually picked by a few of us as well. So nice work, dude. Congratulations on making it to the final 16. So far we have what? 6? Dang, we still got a lot left. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Do you guys want a metric on Cryocidon's bite force? You'll get that whenever we get to the monster face-off for Cryocidon against Colossal Hydrus. So we got B3. Let's go check out who B3 is. That is Malibron by Cool Music 349. I think that's the right. If we get the names wrong, just let us know in the comments because these may not be perfect. But let's go ahead and take a look at Malibron. Let's see, where is Malibron? Who's it by? Cool Music. Here it is. So Malibron's actually a really neat concept that we've never even imagined. Somebody said, will we cover Primitive War? Maybe. We'll go ahead and check that movie out, and we'll see if it's worth the squeeze. Our videos are pretty expensive to make, and we have to really make these hard decisions on whether we should make these or not. So I'm pretty sure it will be worth the squeeze, honestly, dude. But yeah, we'll definitely at least mention it, right? Oh yeah, thanks for the donation, Cool Music. And yes, your bro made it. Congratulations. What we really liked about your creature there, dude, was the concept, really. Has some sort of sloth esque design to it. We also like the armored aspect. It looks like a freaking tank, dude. So nice work. We also really like the red. It actually would light up the arena pretty well. Because we're also thinking about this in the aspect of how cool it would look in an arena fight, because which is what we're going to be animating it in against Kori. So this actually kind of fits the vision well, and in fact all of these do. But this one was something that we got pretty excited for, and we also really like the air sacs that you added in here that apparently can, and correct me if I'm wrong, it can kind of have some sort of like compressed air attack, and it'll like shift the elements around it to confuse the enemy, something like that. But either way, a very heavily armed animal, something that will present a real challenge to Kori, and yeah, we really like it, dude. So congratulations for making it to the next round, then. Charizard King said his Kaiju's design was based off his dog. That's really cool, dude. Alright, we're moving on to the next one. I think we're about to hit halfway. Alright, we got, let's see, B7. Alright, let's check out B7, guys. Who is B7? Oh, we got Vayglis. I think I said that right. I'm probably butchering these names, but you guys are going to have to forgive me. I'm not the narrator guy. The narrator guy, Steve, he's a lot better than me at this. So let's go ahead and take a look at Vayglis by Willinara. I think that's what it says. And I also can't see, so you guys are going to have to forgive me for that too. I think it's this one. Yep. Alright, so this one was picked by a few of us. We all voted which one was our favorite and which one was actually going to fit the concept, the vision, right? So this one was submitted by Willinara, I think. Now it looks cute. Now don't let this cute face fool you. Apparently this creature can fly. Now there was some debate on whether this creature could fly or not, and we think it could at least glide, right? We like somebody mentioned the idea. They were like, oh dude, what if this one actually wins and this thing comes out of like the cage where it comes from, and then Kori's looking at it like, oh, this thing's cute, what could it possibly do to me? And then it just bares its teeth and shoots blood from its eyes. Really interesting, and we like the contrast of its abilities and weaponry to its cute fluffiness. It's not really fluffy, kind of, but you know, it looks cute, but it looks like it would be your friend, but also your enemy's worst nightmare. So, really interesting, and would actually be a really interesting match against Kori, given its abilities. So, congratulations for making it to the final 16. We really like that. So, thank you for the donation, Willow. And yes, we do like her. Very much. We like her very much. All right, let's move on to the next one. We only have 8 spots left, I believe. All right. Let's check out who will be the next monster we reveal. A5. All right, guys, let's take a look at A5. We have Oscar. All right. Let's put Oscar right here on the 7th spot by Chasing the Creation, or the creator. I can't remember what it was. We might have written it wrong, but if that's what it is, whoever submitted Oscar, congratulations. Let's take a look at Oscar real quick. Oh, this one was Rhino. Alright. So, this one, obviously you guys know what animal this is and what, animal group this belongs to. Obviously it's a mammal, but one thing we really liked about it, besides the awesome color palette, was its ability. So this thing will shank you and electrify you, and it can actually withstand a lot of heat damage, and it's pretty much a freaking tank, and it looks agile too.
So it looks like it can throw some mad punches. It almost reminds me of the D-Rex a little bit, except if the D-Rex was actually OP. So, sorry. This looks really cool. And this is one of our favorite designs as well. So, Chase the Creator. That's the name. We may have written it wrong in the Illustrator file, but yeah, this one is really cool. It goes without saying. Whoever did this, excellent work. Somebody said, "Will we ever see a Vastatosaurus Rex versus in the video?" Possibly. Something definitely in the horizon. But we have done V-Rex things before, and V-Rex will show up in a video very soon, actually. So just keep an eye out for that. Oh, thank you, Ricky Games, for the donation there. He says, "Hey Goji, I don't know if you are aware of this, but there is a roster of kaiju as well as a human kaiju hybrid from the Cartoon Network animated movie called Fire Breather. Trust me, dude, you won't be disappointed." Okay, I'll take a look at what that is. I haven't really heard of it. To be honest with you, dude, I don't really watch a lot of TV. I don't really watch a lot of streaming because we're like busy doing this. This is our full-time job. We live and breathe GojiCenter, really. So these things usually hit our radar, but not what you mentioned. But thank you for letting us know, Ricky Games, and thank you for the donation again. So we got Oscar. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the next monster. All right, let's go ahead and move that out of here. All right, let's take a look at the last 7. It might be A8. Yup, just barely. All right, let's take a look at who we got down here. We have Okami Koji. I think that's how you say it. By Spooky Onyx 6. So let's go ahead and take a look at Okami Koji. And if I'm butchering that name again, I am very sorry. Let's see if I can find Okami. Okami, where are you? Here we go. Oh, this is the jackal looking one. Toon Rex, the Chupacabra as a Jurassic World hybrid. That's actually not a bad idea. We really like cryptids, and I've actually had very close friends of family who have witnessed or allegedly witnessed the aftermath of a Chupacabra back then in like the early 2000s when it was like trendy and everything, or late 90s. Yeah, some really freaky stuff too, dude. Do I believe that thing exists? I'm not gonna say it doesn't. I think it's really cool to think some sort of cryptids do exist and everything, but don't take me seriously, man. Anyways, Okami Koji is another creature that we really liked. It based almost all of its abilities on real life phenomena. And the design, guys, I mean, come on now. It's like super sick, dude. It looks like an Egyptian god come back to life mixed with some sort of Kung Fu Panda-esque aesthetic. I can't remember all the abilities off the top of my head, but I think one of our designers really liked this and really pushed for this to make it to the final 16. And we all agreed. We're like, yeah, definitely. I mean, this concept looks freaking awesome. Looks metal as hell, and well deserved to be in the final 16. So congratulations for making it here. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next one. So whoever made this Spooky Onyx 6, good job, and good luck on the next rounds. All right, let's see. We got a notification or a donation. Sorry. Have you considered a collab with Clayton Fiordi? He's well known for being a massive Jurassic Park fan. He's not a large channel though. We've actually a long time ago we used to have a podcast, and he's hopped on the podcast before. So yeah, he's a really cool guy. We've worked with him before. So yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. Hope maybe we will. But yeah, we've talked to him already with Dangerville, Jacob from Dangerville. We've had we've had a few podcasts where we talked about, you know, deaths in the Jurassic Park novels. Really interesting conversations. Those podcasts, I think they may still be out there if you look them up on Spotify or something. But yeah, I mean, we've had them here before. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next creature. We're almost done. All right, A4. All right, let's take a look at A4. Bastion by Adrian Sandlin. All right, let's take a look at Bastion. All right, Adrian, if you're here, say hi to everybody. Hope you're here. All right, so Bastion was actually an interesting one. Very heavily armored creature that we thought would force Kori to do something very creative in the arena. Mainly the real reason why we picked this creature, and it does have some abilities. The artwork was pretty cool. It seems as if it was made in, I don't know, Photoshop or Illustrator. I've worked in these softwares before, but it looks really cool. We really like the effort it was put into creating the concept. So it's almost like a bear. It could be another animal, but from what I'm seeing here, it's like a super armored. It's like scale armor, pretty much. So you're gonna have to be really creative to defeat this creature, and it has a hell of a hitmaker. So it'll be a really cool fight. And this animal, if it were to be an interesting fight, it'll be slightly bigger than Kori if it does make it to the very end. We might add a few things if it does make it to the final. But whoever added Adrian Sandlin, congratulations, dude. You made it to the final 16. And you'll be facing off against... We don't know yet. We have to find out. We have to find out. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 monsters left. So, all right, let's see. B8. All right, let's take a look at B8. B8 is Virelox by Optimus UCJ 1066. I think that's right. If you're there, dude, and you submitted Virelox or Virelox, make yourself known here, please. All right, let's take a look at Virelox. All right, hold on. I'm here looking for it, guys. Just give me a second. But if I remember correctly, yep, that's the one. All right, now I know which one it is. All right, I'm gonna bring it out right now. Boom, Virelox by Optimus CJ. If you're here, make sure you are make sure you make yourself known in the chat, dude, because you made it to the final 16. All right, cool music. Thanks for the donation there. My sister just graduated from high school and made her really happy that her art made it to the top 16. Dude, yes, man. Tell her congratulations and send her our regards. And for for finishing high school, that's that's a big achievement. And whatever she ends up doing in the future, best of luck. So, tell her nice work. Somebody said, wonder what Rudy from Ice Age would look like biologically accurate. That's actually a very good idea. Let me see. Can I heart this? I can't heart this. I don't know. It's not letting me. But thank you, dude. Alright, so the reason why we picked this animal here was because of its ability to detect weaknesses with its special senses, apart from looking really cool, right? Now, There are other artworks who use different softwares. This person did use a regular sketching paper, pencil, and colored it with what seems to be colored pencil. Any sort of medium works, dudes. So this guy got his concept across, and just to show that if you have a good idea, you can still have a chance at winning this whole thing. And one thing that we really liked about this is that this thing has really cool, like a very special set of senses that detects weaknesses and weak spots in the opponent's armor, which is something that Kori has. So we thought this would actually bring some sort of cool dynamic into the fight, which is why it was picked in the final 16. So whoever did this, Connor Jones, congratulations for that. You're going to be going up against Bastion in a round of 8, and we're going to be showing off who wins in the next live stream. So make sure you join. All right. Wonder why Rudy from Ice Age. Okay, we already responded to that. Yeah, Optimus CJ, congratulations, dude. Your kaiju did make it. So let's go ahead and move on to the last 4. I think we have 4 left, right? Let me see. Yep, we do have 4 left. All right, we're moving on to. Oof, that's close. All right, B1. B1 is Mapinguari. All right, so by Titanus Baphomet. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put Mapinguari right here. So Titanus Baphomet, congratulations, dude! You made it to the final 16. Let's go ahead and take a look at his creature real quick. So let's see if I can find it. Here we go. Oh, it's the armadillo-looking one. All right. So, a reason why we picked this thing, because we thought this one was the firebender of the bunch. As you can see, this creature looks agile enough regardless of its large size. A really cool concept with scale armor on the top. Beautiful coloration. Some sick abilities. Imagine being able to produce fire and expel blood, which is, it has a special blood composition, which is, something really cool that this creator added to his monster. It can also roll, kind of like just like a bowling ball, pretty much. And it added like a cool little illustration here on the top of this rolling creature, and then his interpretation of Kori getting hit by the rolling ball. So that's actually really cool. Realistically, it wouldn't be able to roll like a hurricane, but it will definitely be able to roll like really fast. Kind of like those rolling balls that the barbarians use in movies, and they like crash those into like the Roman infantry lines, something like that. That's what we imagined happening. So really cool concept, and something that we definitely wanted to see in the top ranks of this competition. So congratulations, dude. You made it to the final 16. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to the last 3. All right. Whoever did the... somebody asked who did the Mapinguari. It was Titanus Baphomet, one of the members here of the channel. And again, congratulations, dude, for making it this far. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the last 3. And let's see who's next. It's probably going to end up being A1. Yep. All right, it's going to be A1, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look who that is. Is Shin'enma by Frostfang. All right, let's take a look at Shin'enma by Frostfang here. Now, I do remember this one being really cool because I remember the name and also very unique. Now, I haven't memorized these names yet. Oh, yeah, okay, now I know who this one is. All right, take a look at this. So, this right here is Shin'enma. What appears to be a sort of seal. It has some sort of like orca-esque pattern here and some really cool tentacles. Now, I don't remember the dossier that was submitted off the top of my head. That's someone else was studying those. But what we like about this creature is that even though this is a land battle, like an arena in a on dry ground, this creature managed to kind of wet the arena a little bit because it expels some sort of like some sort of liquid that will allow it to glide everywhere without having to like rub its body against the floor and getting hurt. So really cool concept, really interesting. We'll see how far this goes in the bracket, but it definitely did follow directions when we said, keep it mammalian. Although it does show some sort of, tentacles here, but, mostly it's a mammal, and it's a really cool design. Sorry. And it's well deserved to be into the final 16. So, very interesting fight, this one. So, congratulations, Frostfang, for making it to the final 16. Really looking forward to seeing more of it in the future. Frostfang was in the chat. Where'd he go? Where are you at, Frostfang? I know you're out here somewhere. Alright. So, Charizard King. I'm worried my Kaiju is basically the sore thumb of the group due to making it in Spore. Oh, okay. Well, we'll see if... I mean, all of these concepts were pretty good, So, we're not really judging on whether you did it on Spore or not, or whether you drew it on paper, or whether you did a 3D render, or something. It was something you had to make, and mostly it's the concept. So, anyways, we got 2 more to go, and this next draw will determine the order in which we'll reveal them. All right, so let's go ahead and remove that. All right, let's take a look at. It's going to be B2. All right, congratulations. Let's see. All right, we can close this now. B2. Raikoju by BACLA 8424. Bakla 8424, I think. So, let's take a look at Raikoju. Ah, it was this one, the Thunderlight Beast. Alright, so this one's actually really cool. And I remember when we were going over the concepts in the previous live stream, we were pretty excited when we saw this one because, a wolf mixed with lion mixed with other predator mammals is always something really cool to see. We really enjoyed the Japanese touch. At least that's what it looks. It looks, Japanese. Something that all of our artists saw this and we're like, oh, this would make it actually like a really sick fight. So, and I believe this is the one that had electrical powers too. And we also imagined this one to be, of course, aggressive, but also, like, I don't know, we saw some benevolence in this one. We're like, oh, well, if it doesn't get killed, then, this thing looks like it would be like a nice sidekick or something. That's something that we saw. Maybe that's completely contradictory to what the creator believed or envisioned, which, we're going to respect that part. But, yeah, this concept, it's one of our favorite. Well, honestly, all the 16 are our favorite, of course. But yeah, this one has definitely something special, and we also really appreciate the different views, the side view, the angled one, and the front view, which is what we asked for. So thank you, and guys, in the future, follow this guy's example. Make sure you submit, your front and side views because it'll take you a long way. It'll help us understand your concept better, and it's a higher likelihood of it getting picked, right? So, good job, dude. Now we got one left. So, I'm not here said, thank you for the donation. He says, idea, fictional caveman analysis, animated or live action, who would win in a death battle? My money is on Grug. That sounds like a good 10 ways to die idea. Alright, so we have one more left to reveal. Who do you guys think it's going to be? we have one more. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the last one. We have Voltacornus Crysthorn. Alright, so Voltacornus Crysthorn. We're going to put him right here. This one was actually made by Goji Realm. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the last one. Alright, so for those that saw our previous live stream, one thing that we liked about this animal, and everybody listen closely, is thinking outside the box. Now, like we said before, horses are probably one of the most war seasoned, if you will, animals out there. But this guy took it further, so it's like obviously it takes a. You know what? I've never seen it this close. This actually looks pretty cool. This is actually a really high quality picture. But yeah, we really like the use of crystals there. Very much resembles Kori in some ways, but it also looks a little bit alien-esque. And the fact that it's a horse means that this animal is going to fight very differently than what a gorilla type monster would, a elephant or a armadillo or a seal. Like, not that the other ones are bad, but this one, I think the selling point for this one, which is, you know, another reason why a few people picked this, was because of the new fighting style. Not so much the crystals or anything, although that definitely had, you know, a lot to do in the aesthetic, right? But the fighting style is what I think made it hit the top 16. And especially with these claws on the bottom. They're like shredders, right? So I don't know if anybody here has been kicked by a horse. That definitely hurts. Now imagine getting kicked or slashed by this thing. That's going to hurt. And it's going to be a very different type of fight that we are definitely going to consider for the final rounds. And remember, guys, there's only going to be one winner here. All these are very, very, very good. And we wish we could actually turn these all into 3D models. But for now, we're only going to do one. So who knows? Maybe in the future we'll pick another one out of these bunch. So that's it, guys. That is our final bracket. Now, what's next? Monday. This Monday, and here's the big announcement. We're going to have Dope Pope, the guy who designed Titanus Tiamat. Dope Pope is going to be joining us live on GojiCenter. And the big announcement is he is actually going to be creating the winning kaiju of this competition. He was going to actually be the one who's going to model it. He's going to be showing us his work in progress in the next live stream. And in the future, we're going to see that animal go up against Kori in a cage match. So, and by the way, Dope Pope saw all of these monsters that you guys submitted. He gave a lot of good comments on these monsters. And you're going to hear him say a lot more things in the next live stream. So make sure you're there. Don't miss it. It's going to be on Monday at the same time, 9 p.m. And we're going to be revealing the guys, the monsters, that are going to make it to this round, the round of 8. And then we're going to show who made it to the round of 4, who made it to the semifinal, until we reveal the finalists. So it's going to be a pretty lengthy live stream. Make sure you're there. Don't miss it, because there's going to be a lot of cool stuff going to be revealed in that live stream. So, oh yeah, Frostbank, thanks so much for the donation there. He says, thank you so much for considering me. But thanks and shout out to my artist, Janan Judah, for helping me bring my concept to life. Yeah, for sure. Frostbang, you did an excellent job. Everybody did an excellent job. And I'm really looking forward to doing more of these, because these are like super fun to do. So we got another donation from Uverith, if I said that right. It says, "Rip King Indrik, has he proved the lesser horse?" No, dude, don't feel bad. Everybody's concept was really cool. You know what, dude? Where is King Indrik? We actually had a lot of good things to say about everyone's submitted monsters. So don't feel bad. You know, this was actually a pretty tough decision for you know, all of us. So you know, you guys should feel proud, and just, you know, be on the lookout for the next contest. You know, now you know how these go. You know, now you guys know what it is that we're looking for, what it is that we like to see in our submissions. You know. And like you're gonna have another chance, you know, just as long as we're, you know, as you remain a member and you keep updated with all the dates that we release, you pay close attention. You know, you can join to as many contests as we can, you know, dish out, and we're gonna keep doing this until we can. So that's the end, guys. Thank you for joining. And we'll see you on Monday. Don't miss it. And I really don't know how to end live streams. Steve will be with us next time. We're going to have Dope Pope with us next time. I think if I can get Jack, our research, head of research, with us there too, it's going to be really cool. So make sure you don't miss. And also don't miss out on the Hybrid War live stream that we're going to announce soon. Make sure you are following us, you are subscribed, because you do not want to miss that next Hybrid War live stream. So, alright, that's pretty much it. Thank you, guys.